You've been good, and Santa will come visit you. We do begin with a horrible story, though. This is a breaking news alert for you. A staggering death toll that is rising at this hour after this devastating explosion at a fireworks store.
Look at that. Plumes of black smoke covering Mexico City after a blast rocks its most famous outdoor fireworks market. At least 29 people are dead, unfortunately, more than 70 others injured. The crowded market fully stocked with supplies ahead of Christmas and New Year's.
We were in the area of the bathrooms when there was an explosion at the shop at the end of the row, and then a series of blasts came one after the other, and people started to fall down a lot. They started running, and then many people were falling, and pieces of concrete and bricks started falling all over the street.
Well, rescue crews descending on the charred remains right now, and urgent search is underway for survivors. Look at that, the aftermath. The cause of that explosion is still not yet known.
Now to fears of another terror attack mounting by the minute as the man behind the truck massacre in Berlin remains on the run.
ISIS now praising their, quote, soldier for killing 12 and injuring dozens more in the horrific attack. Let's get right to Amy Kellogg. She's live for us in Milan, Italy, with the very latest. Good morning, Amy.
Hi, Heather. Hi, Pete. Well, more than 36 hours have passed now since that brutal, devastating attack in Berlin. So the mass murderer truck driver has had a day and a half to either run or hide. As you mentioned, Heather, ISIS did claim responsibility for the terrorist attack. However, it's not clear whether that is a credible claim or just something opportunistic, of course, saying that their soldier carried it out. But again, we don't know whether he would have acted alone or had the support of a network. ISIS had, in fact, been calling for truck attacks in the month prior. 12 dead, 48 wounded, and an armed and dangerous man, or possibly more than one person on the loose. What appears to have been a brave eyewitness had chased the person who he thought was the driver on foot while talking to police on the cell phone to guide the police. But that person, a 23-year-old Pakistani migrant, with, in fact, a criminal record, denied involvement, and police didn't have enough evidence to hold him any longer, so he was released yesterday. Several of the victims, including an Italian woman, have yet to be identified, just adding to the horror of a story that has ruined so many families' Christmases at the least, but just so many lives, including that of the Polish driver and his family. The belief is still that his truck was hijacked by the terrorist. He was killed, stabbed, and shot. He was a strong, tall man. His boss said it would have been very hard to overpower him. A memorial at the Kaiser Wilhelm Church next to the scene of the crash drew many of Germany's dignitaries yesterday. And I think, Pete and Heather, it is quite obvious that there will be a lot of debate in Germany, not only about this migrant policy, which may, in the end, have run somewhat amok, but also issues of privacy and surveillance in that country. I mean, we could even talk about the Germanwings crash last year, which was a totally different story, but privacy there kept people, employers, from having access to the pilot's files. Now the issue of surveillance. Germany does not have the number of CCTV cameras that, say, the United Kingdom has or other countries have, and that adds to the difficulty that these investigators have tracing the suspect that they're still looking for. Again, this is down to privacy and surveillance. Germany has its reasons for putting certain laws in place, but clearly this is going to be part of a larger debate about security in that country. Pete and Heather.
No, they're grappling with a lot there, that the world has changed.
And a terrorist on the loose for those people. That's very scary. Thank you, Amy. Well, National Security Analyst Lieutenant Colonel Ralph Peters saying that we have to remember that this wasn't just any terror attack carried out by ISIS. It was an attack on Christmas.
For the Germans, just attacking Berlin was a terrible psychological blow. And we're losing sight of the fact. We're becoming so numb. This was an attack on Christmas. And by the way, it wasn't an attack on a barracks or a police station. It was an attack on a Christmas market where families with children go. It was as cold-blooded and monstrous as you could possibly be. We talk a lot about Angela Merkel. People don't understand who she is. She's the daughter of a Lutheran pastor from the old East Germany, where being a devout Christian really cost you. And so she takes very seriously Christ's admonition to help the distressed. Now, the problem is that in this case, the distressed are barbarians who wanted to destroy our civilization.
That's right. Chilling new details in the brutal assassination of a Russian ambassador. Police now saying the gunman may not have acted alone. Investigators from Moscow are in Ankara, where new clues indicate that the 22-year-old gunman, a rogue Turkish police officer, stalked out the art gallery turned crime scene from a nearby hotel room. The assassin's parents, his sister, and roommate are also under arrest.
Well, an American mother kidnapped by terrorists in Afghanistan, pleading with the Obama administration to free her family from their nightmare. Now, Caitlin Coleman and her Canadian husband, Joshua Boyle, seen here with their 2 young boys, who they say were born in captivity. Now, the couple has been held by the Taliban since 2012. They were captured while backpacking through the terror hotbed. Coleman was 7 months pregnant at the time. So far, the United States has not responded.
Wow. And not guilty. That is the plea entered by the terror suspect accused of detonating bombs in New York and New Jersey as he limped into court, barely as you can see there, after having been shot. This is when he went into court for the first time. Ahmed Rahmani facing charges of attempted murder on 5 police officers. For now, he made his plea through a video feed from his hospital room following the September shootout with officers. Rahmani is the main suspect in the Chelsea and New Jersey Shore bombings.
Well, a former Hillary Clinton spokesperson blasting the FBI after the feds released the warrant used to search for classified information on Anthony Weiner's laptop. The estranged husband of Clinton aide Uma Abedin. Brian Fallon going on a Twitter rant blaming FBI Director James Comey for Clinton's loss, saying, quote, on day when new election data freshly suggests decisive impact of Comey letter, it is salt in the wound to see FBI rationale was this flimsy.
The excuses continue.
Yeah.
And talk about blaming the messengers. Incoming Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer firing nearly every member of the Democrats' video staff just days before Christmas. The move comes as Democrats scramble for more creative and viral online messaging after across-the-board election losses. This all happening as potential 2020 Democratic contenders are being tapped for top security posts. Prepping, you might say, for 2020. New Jersey Senator Cory Booker joining the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, and Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren tapped for the Armed Services Committee.
Well, it is another holiday spent on the job for the president-elect.
That is right. Mr. Trump headed south to Mar-a-Lago, where he will spend his Christmas putting the finishing touches on his cabinet.
And just a little bit warmer there, I have a feeling. Kristen Fisher is live for us in Washington, D.C. with the latest from the Trump transition that is just rolling on. Kristen.
Yeah, just a little bit warmer than it is here in D.C. and New York. So Mr. Trump may be spending the holidays at his Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida, but make no mistake, this is a working holiday for the president-elect with less than a month to go until Inauguration Day. Can you believe it? Less than a month. Mr. Trump still has 2 cabinet-level positions to fill, Agriculture Secretary and the Secretary of Veterans Affairs. Yesterday, 2 new names emerged as possible contenders for VA Secretary, and both are CEOs in the healthcare industry. We've got Cleveland Clinic CEO Delos Toby Cosgrove and Louis Quinones. He's a Vietnam veteran and the CEO of IQ Management Services, which provides healthcare services to the military. As for Mr. Trump, as he tries to narrow down the finalists for his cabinet, the unofficial lobbying push to confirm those already tapped for top administration jobs is already well underway, and that is especially true for Mr. Trump's pick for Attorney General, Alabama Senator Jeff Sessions. As for Trump's former campaign manager, Kellyanne Conway, well, she confirmed yesterday that she will be moving to Washington.
And I will either stay outside and run the political superstructure, or I will go into the West Wing and take a position right next to the president where I feel like I can serve him in the way I advise him off camera, which is most of the advice and counsel I give is off camera, not on camera.
Now, 2 other top administration jobs still outstanding are press secretary and communications director. Those are the 2 people in the Trump White House that are going to have to deal with us, the media, the most. So we'll, of course, be watching that very closely.
Yeah, who would want to deal with us ever?
No, never.
I don't know. To deal with you guys? You kidding me? Y'all are the worst.
All right. Thank you, Kristen.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye-bye. Well, the time now is 9 minutes after the top of the hour. And tragedy on the tarmac as a cargo plane crashes. Look at this. The search for what went wrong there and how the plane managed to fly right off the runway.
Yeah, I don't know how to fly, but that doesn't look right.
No, not right.
After signing 250 executive orders, President Obama puts down his pen to offer some advice to President-elect Donald Trump. don't rely on executive orders?
Did someone give him that?
As I say, not as I do.
And Monopoly, tearing families apart, one game at a time. But not this season. The solution that they are now offering.
I got to stick around from that. I've been a part of some Monopoly fights. First, move over, Rudolph, as we head to break. Take a look at Santa flying by drone.
A wonderful Christmas time. The party's on. The feeling's here. That only comes this time of year.
Check out this story. MTV facing a fiery wave of backlash over a politically motivated new video offering 2017 resolutions for white guys.
Yeah, this is unreal. You have to hear this. Jackie Ibanez here with the mounting outrage. You're going to be really angry. Jackie?
It's unbelievable, guys. Racist, disgusting, absurd. Those are just some of the words being used to describe this video. MTV posted it on Twitter with this headline, quote, "Hey, white guys, we came up with some New Year's resolutions for you." Here's just a taste. Listen in.
First off, try to recognize that America was never great for anyone who wasn't a white guy.
Can we all just agree that Black Lives Matter isn't the opposite of All Lives Matter? Black lives just matter. There's no need to overcomplicate it.
Also, Blue Lives Matter isn't a thing.
Learn what mansplaining is, and then stop doing it.
Oh, and if you're a judge, don't prioritize the well-being of an Ivy League athlete over the woman he assaulted.
We all love Beyonce. And yeah, she's black, so of course she cares about black issues. I'm talking to you, Fox News.
The video instantly slammed on social media. One person tweeting this: "Funny that MTV makes a video telling white guys to stop being racist, yet it took them almost a decade to show black musicians on the channel." Many of you are weighing in on this as well this morning. Cheryl posting this on Facebook. The left name calls and trash talks everyone for doing exactly what they themselves do, but it's okay when they do it. What a bunch of hypocrites. And Jim tweets, "I weep for the future of our nation if this is what the next generation is offering up." And Robert on Facebook writes this: "Racism and sexism goes both ways unless you are liberal. MTV, you should be ashamed of yourselves." As of now, the video is still up on MTV News Twitter. No comment yet from the network about the criticism. Can you even believe it?
Yeah, unreal.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not a white guy, and America's been pretty great to me.
Yeah.
Pete?
I was weeping through that entire segment. All right. President Obama offering some ironic advice to President-elect Trump. Do as I say, not as I do when it comes to executive orders.
Going through the legislative process is always better, in part because it's harder to undo. If he wants to reverse some of those rules, that's part of the democratic process.
The pen-happy President Obama has issued 266 executive orders, just to be factual, during his time in office.
Well, the election is over. Yes, it's over, but the political battle continues at home. Brand new Fox News polls show how Americans feel a month and a half later. 51% of people say that they've argued with friends or family about the election. When asked how they would describe America, a whopping 77% say that it is, quote, a dysfunctional family. 18% say it is tight-knit. Well, 83% of people say that they respect those who voted for Hillary Clinton, compared to 73% that respect Trump voters.
Well, do not pass go.
Nope.
Do not collect $200. And do not fight with your family. This is almost impossible over Monopoly games.
For the third time, you do not have a hotel on board. Hotel. It costs $1,000 and 4 greenhouses to put a hotel on Boardwalk. And you do not have a hotel.
Do not put a hotel on Boardwalk. Toy maker Hasbro is working to fix Monopoly mayhem, they say, setting up a helpline in the UK to help bickering families.
Wow, it will be open from Christmas Eve until the 26th to help resolve any disputes.
Well, research shows actually that 51% of Monopoly games end in fighting, and you say that you're one of those families?
Yes, mostly for making up the rules. And when you play with kids, my little kids, they want to play and they love it, you have to make up some rules.
You do?
And you just have to figure it out. No, the hotline can't solve made-up rules.
But you can't change them along the way, though.
That's true. That does happen sometimes, though. All right, the time now is 17 minutes after the top of the hour. Refugee resettlement as President Obama ramps up his program in his final months. One governor is calling for backup.
If they're coming to the United States, chances are they're not going back. That defies the definition of a refugee.
Why Governor Scott Walker of Wisconsin is restarting his fight against accepting refugees.
And panic on a plane. An airline passenger gets violent and a Grammy Award winner jumps into action.
Help me get my feet back on the ground. Won't you please?
Welcome back to Fox and Friends. First, a tennis champion viciously attacked by a knife-wielding assailant in her Czech Republic home. And this morning, her attacker is still on the loose. Petra Kvitova, seen here, she was stabbed in her playing hand after fighting off the intruder. She says that he had a knife to her throat. The two-time Wimbledon champion had surgery and cannot play for at least 3 months, we're told. The 26-year-old says that she is strong, though, and her will is to fight through this.
Hope she does. American singer Richard Marx saving the day when an out-of-control passenger attacks the crew on board a Korean Air flight. The Grammy winner jumping up to help the man to his seat after the crew struggled to tase him. Other passengers, including his wife, Daisy Fuentes of MTV Days, watching in horror as Marx and the crew struggle with the man for 4 hours. The passenger was, of course, later arrested. Marx tweeting about this ordeal saying, "No big hero move at all, just did what I hope anyone would do in the same situation. Thanks for the concern."
Wow.
Hey, not everyone takes action all the time,
Yes.
so good to see.
Those camera phones now catch it all. Well, it is the Christmas crush at the box office, and some big movies are hitting the big screen today.
That's right. So we got to talk to Fox News contributor Kevin McCarthy, who got a sneak peek. I didn't see that at first. There you have it. At both Assassin's Creed and The Passengers, and he joins us live with his reviews in a outstanding-looking suit. Good morning.
Merry Christmas.
Yep. Good Merry Christmas to you guys as well. By the way, I saw Brett Baer wearing one of these suits last night, so I think it's catching on. I think everyone's rocking them out now, which is kind of cool. But yeah, good morning to you, Pete and Heather. Yeah, 2 films opening up in theaters today, including Passengers as well as Assassin's Creed. Passengers is the idea behind this movie is it's characters are on this massive spacecraft going to another planet. It's a 120-year journey, and 2 of the passengers wake up 90 years too early, and those 2 passengers just happen to be Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence, of course, and they're on this. They're trying to figure out how to get back to sleep, because if they don't go to sleep, they're going to die before the ship gets to the next planet. Now, the movie itself has a great beginning and a great middle, but the ending is awful, and that's the biggest problem, is you feel it fall off the rails. When you're watching the beginning and the middle, you're thinking this is really good, it's a good moral dilemma, but overall it just doesn't really connect towards the end. I gave it a 3 out of 5, which is kind of a C on my scale. I did speak to Jennifer Lawrence and Chris Pratt about this idea of this scene where he sends her a love note and in handwritten form, and he asks her on a date, and people don't do that anymore, and I wanted to know if they did that when they were in middle school and high school. Watch this.
Did you do the notes?
Yeah, oh, yeah, of course. I mean, I feel like there's an art form to the love note, and it's sadly past.
I agree.
You know, everything's digital now. We text now.
Facebook
so,
and
like there's likes and emoticons, but you know, there used to be like a whole prison system for passing a note, you know, where you like had to go through 7 or 8 hands before the other person.
Did you get them when you were in middle school, like the yes, no, maybe ones? You circle them like when you go out with them?
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe I'll always puts you in an uncomfortable situation, because you're like, well, now if I say yes, I'm going to sound desperate. Or sometimes if it was no, I would write, comma, thank you.
Now, Pete, you know you passed those notes when you were younger, the yes, no, maybe, will you go out with me?
I got shoeboxes full.
Or will you go with me?
Yeah,
and my dad would say, where are you going?
Right.
That's right.
So another movie out, Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, this is the movie based on the video game franchise. Michael Fassbender stars in this movie, and the characters overall are very well acted. The problem is the plot is way too convoluted. The action scenes in the Animus are really, really cool to watch, but everything starts to blend together. I gave it a 2.5 out of 5. I wasn't too impressed with this film overall, but Michael Fassbender does a phenomenal job in every movie that he's in, and I had a chance to actually go to Spain to try and recreate some of these action scenes in the film. And then I wanted to bring the footage back to Michael Fassbender and tell him that I'm actually auditioning for his role in the sequel. Watch his reaction.
I'm actually auditioning for your role in the sequel.
Excellent.
Yes, I went to Seville.
They told me they were going to replace me. I didn't believe them.
Oh, nice roly-poly. Yep. Here comes the run on the rooftop. Yeah. Oh, that's good. Come on. You're scared, aren't you? You're worried about it.
Yeah.
It's okay. I like the commitment.
I had the hood down and everything. So
I like it.
Like
nice.
How was the leap?
The drop backwards, impressive.
Did you do the backwards drop?
I don't know if I did a backwards drop. You have one up on me.
All right, so now I think I might be taking his role in the sequel. The movie, unfortunately, I didn't particularly love. It has some decent action, but I gave it a 2.5 out of 5. Again, Fassbender's one of the best actors working today. I wish they had a better script and a better director, but overall, if you're a fan of the game, I do recommend maybe seeing it as a matinee. For me, it was a bit convoluted and didn't transcend to the full audience who didn't play the game to begin with. So.
But you got to use the word convoluted.
That's right.
Like that.
You have too much fun. I'll give you that suit about a 3.5 out of 5. Kevin.
Hey, this suit's a 5 out of 5, Pete. Come on, you know it is. I mean,
we're gonna get Pete in one.
I look amazing in this suit.
Grades. You look good, but
yes,
the suit,
you do.
we'll see. All right, brother. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Well, the time
Merry
now,
Christmas to you guys.
Yes, you too.
Merry Christmas.
The time is 27 minutes after the top of the hour, and Europe now a hotbed for terror, and many now warning it is far from over.
Seen all the warning signs for decades. As that election comes forward next year, we'll probably see, unfortunately, more such attacks.
Why a former extremist turned anti-terror crusader says attacks from ISIS are going to be more ruthless than ever. Good morning. It is Wednesday, December 21st. This is a Fox News alert. Christmas terror manhunt. The search intensifying right now for the driver who plowed a truck through a crowded Christmas market in Berlin. ISIS now claiming credit for the carnage as the world remains on high alert.
And fire in the sky. Stunning video of a massive explosion at a fireworks market. Dozens now dead and countless others injured. The desperate search right now for survivors in those charred remains.
And the Grinch who stole Christmas from kids getting blasted.
Well, yeah, Tammy, you are going someplace. You're going where we lock up Grinches. It's called the county jail, or Grinch City.
That's my kind of sheriff.
Yeah.
The sheriff who just unleashed fury on the woman who stole from Toys for Tots. You're not going to want to miss this. Fox and Friends First continues right now. Let's get right to that Fox News alert. Fears of another terror attack growing by the minute as the man behind the truck massacre in Berlin remains on the run.
ISIS now praising their, quote, soldier for the horrific attack. Amy Kellogg's live for us in Milan, Italy with the breaking developments. Good morning, Amy.
Good morning, Heather and Pete. German investigators are following more than 500 leads, but that mass murderer remains at large. As you mentioned, ISIS claimed responsibility, but German investigators are saying that simply they don't know whether or not that claim is valid or simply opportunistic, and whether or not that, quote, soldier acted alone or was part of a wider cell with support. ISIS had been calling for truck attacks in the month prior to the mass murder in Berlin. 12 dead, 48 wounded, and an armed and dangerous man or persons at large. The web of grief and agony spreads far and wide, with people still missing yet not identified, from Israel to here in Italy. The previous suspect, a 23-year-old Pakistani migrant who had entered Germany under a false name with a criminal record, denied involvement, and police did not have enough evidence to hold him any longer, so released him yesterday. Again, so many Christmases and so many lives devastated, including that of the Polish driver, 37-year-old Lukasz Urban, and his family. The belief is still that his truck was hijacked by the terrorist. He was ultimately shot. He was a strong, tall man. His boss said it would have been very hard to overpower him. A memorial at the Kaiser Wilhelm Church next to the scene of the crash drew Germany's dignitaries yesterday. And again, Heather and Pete, no doubt lots of questions will be asked in the coming days about Angela Merkel's open-door migration policy. Germany basically took in close to 1 million refugees and migrants, many of them essentially unvetted, and also certainly a debate about surveillance in that country, which has a relative dearth of CCTV cameras if you compare to cities like London. Pete and Heather.
Oh, that's right. London, they're having a tough time adjusting to the new world of terrorism and surveillance, indeed. On to another story. Europe becoming a hotbed for terror, with plots like the one in Germany popping up all over the place. Former Islamic extremist turned anti-terror crusader Majid Nawaz explains why these attacks are becoming so difficult to predict.
We've seen all the warning signs for decades, but in particular over the last few years, the terrorist organizations such as ISIS, before them Al-Qaeda, have been instructing people to use everyday instruments and turn them into weapons, to weaponize our day-to-day lives in that sense. And it makes it almost impossible to predict. Now, ISIS, of course, can claim responsibility for it, and that almost becomes irrelevant, because actually any form of attack in this way, any jihadist attack, will have the same effect on German society. Merkel is up for re-election, and one thing that ISIS is very clear on, because they've told us, is that they want to polarize European society even further. And actually, as that election comes forward next year, we'll probably see, unfortunately, more such attacks.
Such a great point. So many blurred lines between motivated, inspired, and different ways that ISIS affects this. ISIS has now claimed responsibility for at least 13 attacks in Western nations this year. Heather?
And now to another Fox News alert for you. A staggering death toll that is just rising at this hour after this devastating explosion at a fireworks store. Look at all of that smoke covering Mexico City after a blast rocks its most famous outdoor fireworks market. At least 29 people dead, more than 70 others injured. The crowded market fully stocked at the time with supplies ahead of Christmas and New Year's.
We were in the area of the bathrooms when there was an explosion at the shop at the end of the row, and then a series of blasts came one after the other, and people started to fall down a lot. They started running, and then many people were falling, and pieces of concrete and bricks started falling all over the street.
Well, rescue crews descending on the charred remains right now in an urgent search for survivors. The cause of the explosion still not yet known. And some tragedy on the tarmac to tell you about as this cargo plane overshoots the runway, killing nearly everyone on board. Well, the plane was just racing down the runway, speeding up to take off, but failing to gain altitude, crashing into the ground. This happened in Colombia. It burst into flames and then broke apart, killing 5 of the 6 people on board. No word yet on what went wrong on that either.
Lots going on in the air today. Heart-stopping moments at LAX. A jumbo jet making a wrong turn after taking off, putting it directly in the path of an incoming plane. An air traffic controller telling the EVA Airlines pilot to turn left instead of right. And she quickly realized her mistake once she saw the jet headed straight for an Air Canada flight. The planes, look at that. They realized they just missed each other.
Very lucky. Well, no rest for President-elect Donald Trump as he works to finish filling his cabinet just days before Christmas.
That's right. Mr. Trump wrapping up efforts to confirm his pick for Attorney General. Kristen Fisher live in Washington, D.C. with the latest from the Trump transition. Good morning, Kristen.
Good morning.
Good morning, Heather and Pete. Well, Mr. Trump has moved very quickly to fill his cabinet, but with less than a month to go until Inauguration Day, Mr. Trump still has 2 cabinet-level positions open, Agriculture Secretary and the Secretary of Veterans Affairs. Well, yesterday, 2 new names emerged as possible contenders for VA Secretary, and both are CEOs in the healthcare industry. Cleveland Clinic CEO Delos Toby Cosgrove and Louis Quinones, a Vietnam veteran and the CEO of IQ Management Services, which provides healthcare services to the military. Well, as Mr. Trump narrows down the finalists for his cabinet, the unofficial lobbying push to confirm those already tapped for top administration jobs is well underway, especially for Mr. Trump's more controversial picks like Alabama Senator Jeff Sessions for Attorney General. As for Trump's former campaign manager, Kellyanne Conway, there's been so much swirling about what will she do in a Trump administration. Well, she confirmed yesterday that she will be moving to Washington.
I will either stay outside and run the political superstructure, or I will go into the West Wing and take a position right next to the president where I feel like I can serve him in the way I advise him off camera, which is most of the advice and counsel I give is off camera, not on camera.
Now, one other top administration job still outstanding is White House press secretary, really the face of the administration. An announcement on that could come later this week, though it's more likely to happen after the holidays. Pete and Heather?
All right, Kristen.
Thanks a lot.
You know, he worked through Thanksgiving, now he's working through Christmas.
Yeah, the man doesn't stop working. That's true. You know what else doesn't stop? The cold. I thought winter was already here, but winter is apparently officially arriving in just about 5 minutes at 5:44 It is the winter solstice and officially the shortest day of the year.
Unreal. This as a possible Christmas weekend snowstorm looms with bitter cold temperatures from the west all the way to New England.
Yeah, but it's quite the opposite in Florida, with temperatures soaring to record highs well into the 80s. That's where we should be.
Senior meteorologist Janice Dean, is in the Weather Center with our travel forecast.
Yeah,
good morning,
both of you. Yes, happy first day of winter. We're actually into a warm-up across much of the country, which is good news for a lot of folks. 26 in Minneapolis, 22 in Chicago, 64 in Tampa. But look at the 24-hour difference. So, yes, much warmer in a lot of cases for Memphis and New York, Caribou, Maine, 26 degrees above where we were this time yesterday. A quiet weather pattern for the next couple of days. But as Heather mentioned, Pete mentioned, we have a new system that's going to arrive, a couple of them. The first one coming out of the southwest Thursday and Friday. We're going to watch this as it moves into the Plain states. But the bigger system that's going to affect the U.S. on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day comes out of the west. And this one is one to watch as we are expecting snow, ice, and even severe storms on Christmas Day. So keep that in mind. Current snow cover, and a lot of people are saying, am I going to have a white Christmas, Janice Dean? Here's the current snow cover, but watch what happens because of the warm temperatures and some of the rain on the way. That starts to melt off here. But if you live anywhere across the Rockies, Northern Plains, Great Lakes, interior Northeast, it will be a white Christmas, but we will watch for the potential of a big winter storm for Santa, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Back to you, Pete and Heather.
One of our viewers was a little bit not happy with me yesterday because I was joking about Santa in shorts, but of course we want Santa in the snow if we can.
Right, but I'm sure that
all-weather man.
I mean, I'm sure he wears shorts like everybody else at some point.
Yeah, but that's his time off.
And a Hawaiian shirt. It's true. Janice, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
The time is now 41 minutes after the top of the hour. A parting shot, the move President Obama just made, that President-elect Trump won't be able to reverse.
And Uber Oops, how did one woman's ride just cost nearly $30,000?
And this is a heartwarming reunion that will make your morning. Can't wait to show you this clip.
I bet my boys at home can't leave you alone, you little honey.
Outrage is growing over President Obama's 11th hour crackdown on fossil fuel, blocking oil and gas drilling in the Atlantic and Arctic Oceans. Now, the president using a 1953 provision to ban offshore leases permanently. And it won't be easy for President-elect Trump to reverse it since he may need congressional approval.
In the last days of the Obama administration, he's worried about burnishing his legacy, which on foreign policy is in tatters. Domestic policy, he'll argue that he delivered a great economy to Obama, which a lot of us would take issue with. But this is just giving a Christmas gift to the environmentalists. And you're right, they are very happy. But the people, native people in those regions who need jobs, I bet a lot of them are not happy.
Well, the Atlantic waters off limits stretch from the coast of New England all the way to Virginia.
That'll have a lasting effect. Well, the Obamacare website, speaking of more lasting effect, busted for approving fake applicants. According to a government accountability report, healthcare.gov gave the green light to 9 of 12 phony identities used to test the application process. Under the Affordable Care Act, marketplaces are required to validate application information to determine eligibility by checking Social Security numbers, citizenship status, and household income. And a plan by 2 major cities to destroy seized guns is backfiring. The problem? It's banned by pesky state law. Officials in Tucson, Arizona and Savannah, Georgia want to melt the guns to prevent more violence. Because, of course, guns cause violence. In both cases, state law requires cities to auction them off. Arizona Supreme Court is looking into Tucson's case. And in Savannah, council leaders are asked for permission before they destroy their guns. Heather?
Well, 'tis the season for giving. From your dog walker to your babysitter, what is the right gift for the important people in your life? Cheryl Casoni from our sister network, Fox Business, here to break it all down for us. Cheryl?
Well, good morning, guys. You know, certainly it depends on your own financial situation, but there are definitely guidelines out there to make sure that you show some appreciation for the people that are in your lives that take care of you every day or every week. Now, I'm going to speak out to the ladies for a minute that are out there in America. You know, a hairstylist is very important. If you see somebody on a regular basis for things like hair or nails, a 10% tip on top of your usual tip is a great gesture. Plus, maybe give a card or a note. Now, the people that come in and out of your home and clean it, they deserve a tip for the holidays, anywhere from 50 to 100% of their normal fee, especially if they're coming every week or every 2 weeks. A card, even cookies or wine also is a nice gift for them. Now, for those that live in urban communities or apartment buildings especially, yes, you should tip that building superintendent, and if you're lucky enough to have one, your doorman, on average $75 to $175. Now, many young moms depend on their nanny to keep them sane. 1 week of salary, a ticket home, maybe a great gift for full-time workers that are in your home. That part-time babysitter would certainly like a gift certificate, maybe $25 or $50. Pet sitters, dog walkers are certainly worthy of a holiday tip, anywhere from $30 to $60. I can tell you as a pet owner, they deserve a big thank you for taking care of our furry kids. 'Tis the season for giving and saying thank you. Yeah. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Cheryl. Now, let's check in with Steve Doocy to see what's coming up on Fox and Friends. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning, Peter. Good morning, Heather. Coming up on Fox and Friends in 11 and a half minutes, the world responding to a wave of terror around the globe. This morning, 3 takes on the approaches. Rudy Giuliani is going to be with us. State Department spokesperson John Kirby, the Admiral, is going to join us. And the man who killed Osama bin Laden, Rob O'Neill. We've got a busy 3 hours. Kicks off just about 11 minutes from right now, right here on the channel everybody trusts for the morning news.
They sure do.
We're looking forward to it. Find your jacket, Steve.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Steve. And we'll be right back.
Famous tourist attractions getting extra security in the wake of the Berlin attacks. Starting today, extra police will be on hand for the changing of the guard, a very famous ceremony at the Buckingham Palace, which is packed with tourists every single day. Roads in front of the palace will also be blocked. London police say it's just a precaution, and there is no yet specific threat.
Well, refugees pouring into the United States at an alarming rate in the final months before President-elect Trump takes office. The Obama administration on pace to surpass its goal of 110,000 by the end of fiscal year 2017. But Wisconsin's Governor Scott Walker calling in for backup after with an ally on his side, I should say, asking Mr. Trump for more control over refugees that want to settle in his state.
A refugee is someone who's eventually going to go back to their country of origin. I think the whole idea is ridiculous that we're not working with our allies in the Gulf region to make sure that a lot of those folks would be better suited going to some of our partners, some of our allies. If they're coming to the United States, chances are they're not going back. That defies the definition of a refugee.
Well, last year, Walker was one of 28 governors to call for a ban on all Syrian refugees.
And check out this story, a heartwarming reunion. A Notre Dame basketball player is surprised by his soldier brother.
A freshman point guard, Matt Farrell, was listening to a message from his lieutenant brother after Monday's game at Colgate University, thinking that his brother was sending the message from Afghanistan. But after a minute, that's what happened. His brother came rushing out on the court.
Wow, gives me chills just watching it. Player breaking down into tears. First Lieutenant Beau Farrell wasn't expected home until February. What a Christmas gift.
Love those stories. Well, the time now is about 6 minutes until the top of the hour, and a special session for North Carolina's controversial bathroom bill. Will it be repealed today?
And the Grinch who stole Christmas busted.
Well, yeah, Tammy, you are going someplace. You're going where we locked up Grinches. It's called the county jail, or Grinch City.
Well done, sir. The sheriff who just unleashed his fury on the woman who stole from Toys for Tots. That's what you get. To the top of the hour. Before you leave the house, here's what's happening today. ICE is claiming responsibility for the horrific truck attack on a Berlin Christmas market. At this hour, a massive manhunt is underway for the killer behind the wheel. Robert Dirks, due in a California courtroom as his murder trial gets underway. His lawyers want an interrogation transcript thrown out of him telling police he was on meth during his confession on HBO's The Jinx. And North Carolina's controversial bathroom law could be repealed today as states law